I am your host, Leah Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance.
Hi, are you still waiting for the time to be right to tick off all of those amazing things you've had on your bucket list? I was talking to someone today about bucket lists, and I'm realizing I've spent the last 26 years living my bucket list, not waiting, not building, right? Not creating, but living it. And what the difference is for so many people when they keep adding to their bucket list rather than living it, right? Rather than taking the time now to actually enjoy the things that they are wanting to have or experience or be. Especially that last one, be. Wanting to be. So I'm curious as you're watching this. I'm Leah Dunlap, Oracle on Purpose, and if you haven't seen me before, welcome. Say hello below. And if you've been around a bit, you've watched some things, and you know I'm about to lay it down here now, and you want to invite some friends or colleagues over to listen in, now would be the time to do so. Because what I'm about to talk about, I think, is valuable for everyone who's breathing. What do I mean by that? If you are someone who's over the age of 18 and have created some sort of success in your life, I think you might be also someone who has hit a place in their life where they realize after years of success that the bucket list, the line, the finish line, if you will, just continues to keep moving, just out of reach, just enough out of reach to kind of keep you trapped in a cycle of striving and pushing and reaching toward while never really fully enjoying where you are now. So where are you now? Where have you been? Like, what has it taken to bring you to where you are now? If you're in a place where you've recognized that you kind of feel as if you are on an either emotional or spiritual or business treadmill, then this conversation is for you. And I'll tell you why. It's a crime. It is a crime to show up at the end of your days knowing that you have a bucket full of wishes still undone. Think about that. I think about my parents. They're older now, and I watched their progression through life kind of as an example. I think our parents are either the warning of what not to become, or the inspiration for what to become. And for me, in my life, the way that my family was set up isn't the life that I wanted. And I always knew, raise your hand if this is you, I always knew that's not for me, right? Like the way they do what they do, that's not for me. So I didn't grow up with people who could show me the way that I'm living now, who could explain to me how to make my life a living dream instead of the drudgery or that grind of waiting until you've suffered enough to be rewarded at the end of your work, whatever your work looks like, right? Whether that's the old 30-year trudge to retirement, which now I think is probably 45, 50-year trudge to retirement. To me, that never made sense. Like, even just like in my bones, it never made sense. So I started out on a different path, but I had no one to guide me, right? No close mentor or parent figure or uncles. save my grandmother. And I say that because she always inspired me to be as different as I already was, right? Like, so that piece I got. But the real like expansion idea is the concept of how to change what I saw as normal, right? It was normal that you worked hard, you went to school, you worked hard, you had a family, you had kids, you built a house, you maybe got a summer house, did vacations or whatever, and then you retired. And supposedly, like, retirement was this happy ever after phase. So that's the story, right? That's the story that myself and many people of my era, my age, Gen X, that's the story a lot of us were told. The truth for me now is so different. And the reason it's different isn't because I had someone in my family who showed me a different way. But what I saw was the way I didn't want to go, so I chose the opposite. And so the challenge there, of course, is that can be kind of bumpy when you don't have somebody to share like how to do the different way. Luckily, I had what I call a learner's mind, right? So I am autodidactic. If I want to know a thing, I'm going to go figure it out. I'm going to read about it. I'm going to learn about it. So that was luckily part of who I am. So I always wanted to know, like, okay, so that's not what I want. What do I want? How do I get it? And so for a long time, a lot of the guidance and support, the wisdom came from books, from going to seminars back in the day, going to retreats. And all of that knowledge gave me a different option, gave me the chance to make a different choice. And so for me, when I look at the life that my parents are having now and what they've chosen to do and how they're experiencing their retirement, I think about bucket lists. And I think about all the times when I was younger, when I would hear things that they liked or wanted or wished for, but it never felt possible. It never felt like one day we'll do that. It always felt like they were sticking it in a little box, or a bucket, if you will, for some unknown future, forever away place. And to me, I remember thinking, that's so sad. So somehow I understood, maybe just even on a cellular level, that this life that we're in right now, it's meant to be enjoyed now. Like, we don't have to wait. Like, even as a child, I was like, I don't understand why we're waiting. Like, let's do it now. Do the thing now. And that's what I love about the work that I get to do with my clients, is it's breaking down those predisposed stories of how or when you get to be happy. Who gets to decide when it's time to do what you want to do, or to be who you really are? Who gets to decide? And if you're letting like the old stories decide on your behalf, does that make you happy? Or does it make you sad, frustrated, hollow? Right? Those are some of the things I've heard clients say. I just feel so empty. Like I've done all the right things, right? That's another word. I've done all the right things. I went to school, I got a degree, I got a job, I got the family, and yet there's still something missing. And part of that, I think this is where the trap comes, right? Part of that is thinking, if I make the money, then I'll be able to get to my bucket list. If I make the money, then I'll be able to get to my bucket list. Then I'll have what it takes to, climb the tallest mountain, to travel in Europe, to, live on a farm and grow tomatoes right? To be a dancer or a comedian or a singer. And all of these things that are kind of living in that never to come place of the bucket list, there's still part of them that's attached to us. Right? They came from us. They are our own inspired desires. And so a part of us, just imagine, a part of us is getting chipped away and left in this never to be perhaps bucket list bucket. Someday, one day, when I have enough, when I've made enough, when I've crossed some certain barrier that I've created to, at 65, at 55, when I retire, imaginary line in the sand, then I'm going to do whatever I want. And like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, because I've seen the other side of that with so many people. There's the regret of not having done it sooner. Number one, like when I hear my clients talk about it and they're over 55, I wish I had done this sooner. None of them have said, oh, I'm so glad I waited, right? Doesn't happen. The idea that you have to sacrifice or suffer or pay your dues until you get to be happy is a lie. It's a trap that old story it perpetuated the story, right? So it's a trap that kept you perpetuating on the treadmill, on the over and over and over again side. But there's a moment, I think, actually many moments, when we're daydreaming or we catch ourselves watching someone else, like that FOMO of watching someone else have or be what we want to have or be, and it catches us, right? It catches our breath. You find yourself going, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. I wish I was brave enough. I wish I had the confidence. I wish I could be so free to just do what I want to do. And all of those sayings do one thing. They keep us trapped. Because the wishing part of that storyline tells us that it's not true unless, it's not possible unless we've checked off these other boxes. And in reality, whatever we desire is already ours. It's already available to us. There may be ways that we need to show up differently, conversations we need to have, or opportunities we need to seize. When we do, then we can actually achieve those desires. The desires themselves, if they exist at all inside of us, they're already ours. If they exist already inside of you, they are already yours. The desires come from you to be realized through you. I'm going to say that again. Desires come to you, right? They appear in your mind, that sudden daydream in the midst of a coffee chat. Whatever it is, when that real true desire comes to life inside of you, it's there to happen through you. So your desires come to you to be born through you, to be expressed through you, to be realized through you. All you need to do is decide that you are willing to take that first step towards them. And in the comments, you saw me mention this, if you read them, the little comments above or below, wherever you are, that there's this scene as well I was thinking about today from the movie Elf with Will Ferrell. And it's the escalator scene. And in the escalator, when he hasn't seen an escalator before, but he wants to get to the next level, and he watches people go up, right, in front of him, and it's his turn, but he's nervous, and he doesn't know what the next step will bring. And so he continues to like stay there and stutter and step and sort of step and not step and back and back and back and forth and back and forth. And as he's doing that, the interesting part of this scene that's really brought to my attention is the fact that he keeps letting other people go. Right? Are you one of those people? The people that cheer other people on. Why do we do that? I think it's because we value the bucket list. We actually realize how important and amazing getting to that next level is. And it's somehow easier for us to want it for someone else. And I think that's part of, being a woman and being a mom. We're taught to take care of other people. So there's this strange sense of internally understanding how powerful those desires are and how necessary they are for people to have them. And yet, as we see, like with that example of Will Ferrell, the elf at the end of the escalator, it's so much easier to say, oh yeah, go ahead, you go up, you go on, take yourself all the way up, right? The cheering on of those who are around us. But there's also this thing that happens, this growing desire as those people go by us, right? Some people call FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Like, what are they doing up there at that next level? And that's it. We tie into that scene over and over and over again until eventually we make the decision. And the decision is no longer waiting. The decision is, I'm done waiting. I am done dealing with all the stuff that's keeping me back. I'm done with the conversations I'm having with myself over and over and over again about why I can't, right? When you find yourself arguing for your own excuses, yet again, the reasons you can't, and you continue to watch people rise right past you. Everybody, people that you might even realize are less qualified, less appreciative even of where that level is going to take them. And still you just share them, go on, go on, go on. Until you make the decision. Until whatever's inside of you grows so strong that the desire literally pulls you over the edge. And you take that first step. And all you really need to know in that moment is that taking the step is the only way to get to the next level. Deciding to take the step. That's it. That's the only way to get to the next level. Until you decide, no one can do it for you. No one's dragging him up the escalator, right? Nobody's grabbing his hand and pulling him up. They're like, okay, you don't want to go, I'm going to go. Right? Life is like that. There is a bounty full of amazing things to do in our lives, in our world. And we have to decide that we're ready to receive them. We have to decide that we are going to take that step toward what we want now and not wait any longer. And as women who are leaders, who are working and in the trenches, right, of like getting it done. I know you're out there. You're getting it done. And the getting it done starts to feel repetitive. Even if you're like out there slaying the dragons, in the end of the day, if those desires are unfulfilled, it's always going to have a bit of hollowness to it. And so you have the chance to either walk to the end of your days with a bucket full of wishes, or with your arms wide open, knowing you spent every last ounce of energy you have living the life you have now. Really, the decision is yours. And if you're a person right now who's listening to this and you're thinking, man, that's me. I know I continue to put things off that will make me happy, that I've said for so long are the most important things. Whether that's creating a legacy of wealth and prosperity for your family and your children, or traveling the world, or showing up completely wide open without any reservations, all of you being visible, sharing who you really are, and making the difference you absolutely know you're meant to make. That is possible. And it doesn't have to wait another minute. You don't have to keep putting things aside. You just have to decide that you're ready. So, if you are at that edge and you really do want to thrive and enjoy your life full out, I want to help you. I want to be here to support you and show you how I did it as one example. How I took the other path and ended up with a life that I still honestly wake up and pinch myself about. A life where I don't have a bucket list anymore. I have a next list, right? I have a what's next, let's do that. That sounds good. And if you want that too, I can help. So just join us this August to find out how you can make it so for you too. And if you're not sure if our upcoming retreat is for you, then take the time to reach out, send me a message, we'll talk, and I'll let you know if it is or it isn't. We only have less than 7 spots left. So feel free to come and join us. You can find out all about it. It's the Master Creators Alchemy Retreat. Master Creators Alchemy Retreat. There'll be a link you can grab and take a look at it. Take a look. If you're not sure, reach out. We'll chat. And I hope that you'll come. I hope that if you've listened this far, that you're one of those people that's nodding your head, that you will actually come and join us, so that next year, the things that you're talking about are the things that you did, not the things you're gonna do. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. I'll see you at the Master Creators Alchemy Retreat. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.